Hey, wrestling fans, welcome to One Wing Wrestling, where we help you navigate the complex world of pro wrestling, bringing you the best matches, world-class wrestlers, and news you can count on. At One Wing Wrestling, we bring the elite to you. I'm your host, Krishna and joining me, as always, is Mr. Bill Cutbush. Bill, how's it going today?
It is going, and it is Wednesday, and you know what that means. And
That's
no,
right.
not a glass of wine, your favorite easy chair, and this compact disc on your electric player. It means it's time for Dynamite. So tonight, as is always with our Wednesday show, we're going to provide you with our thoughts and expectations, what we hope for, what we think might be good or bad. Preview the show, look at what we think is going to be our match of the night. And if you all listen Monday, you already know what we are probably picking as our match of the night.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to watch the show, come back here, see if those expectations were met or maybe even exceeded, which is what we always hope for. And most importantly, we're going to discover if anything in Dynamite tonight was able to reach that all important Omega level.
Exactly. And unfortunately, Kenny's not available at the moment. So, Bill, will anything reach Omega level without the elite here?
Right. There's no Elite and there's no Will Ospreay. But
Mm-hmm.
maybe we've got a couple good matches shaping
We
up that
do.
have potential to be the elite level. You
Fair enough.
know, I mean, and generally, like we've been saying, we've done a new Monday show now, which some of our listeners will now be familiar with, and that's where we said we were going to move our news and notes. Right, we're going to do the news there, so we clear up time on Wednesday because there's only 2 days between what Monday and Wednesday. What could possibly happen in 2 days that we would have to discuss on the Wednesday show?
Yep.
What? Unfortunately, Twitter is a thing. And so tonight we're going to take a couple moments before we get into our predictions, and we are going to chat a bit about a very sad, I'm going to use the word sad, because look, I said to you guys, we're only going to bring you, I promised you this last week, we're only going to bring you the news that we can verify, the news that we know for a fact it's been said between the people, right? It's come out of the horse's mouth. Well, Twitter's a pretty good place to get information out of the horse's mouth. And unfortunately, Sammy Guevara and Andrade El Idolo got into it on Twitter. I believe it was yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And Andrade essentially claimed in an interview that he had a Spanish language interview on YouTube with, I think it's a Spanish podcast, but at least it's a wrestling show of some kind anyway. He was interviewed in Spanish. And during that interview, he claimed that Guevara complained that Andrade had hit Guevara both too hard and too frequently in a match sometime this year. And he's only faced him 3 times, so it's one of those matches. Andrade said that he told Guevara that it was just wrestling, and if he hit Guevara too hard, Guevara should really just do the same to him, right? You hit
Yep.
me, if I'm hitting you too hard, hit me hard back. He said he talked to Guevara without any physical altercation, asked if there was a problem, and Guevara apparently said there wasn't. Well, Sammy tweeted yesterday, "You're a jobber, a favor hire, be grateful, bitch." And then Andrade said, "I said it to your face. If you had a problem with me and you said nothing, I won't beat your ass because I'm a professional, so don't be scared." Sammy said, "You didn't say shit to me, you liar, but here's some truth, you ungrateful prick. You would be jobless if it wasn't for your dad-in-law." He's referring to Ric Flair.
Mm-hmm.
"Are you really mad at me or mad at yourself for failing to get over for a second time? Just go back to WWE like we all know you want to do and F off. When I say something, I name names, and I'm not scared to get fired." Andrade says, "Okay, I'm a liar." Laughing emoji. "See you on Wednesday. I'll tell you to your face again, and nothing you say that you do not." And then he said something that doesn't come across in translation very well. Essentially saying, you can't say you didn't have a problem. And Jose, the assistant, apparently confirmed Andrade's account of the incident in question. Now, that was the Twitter exchange. Very interestingly, as of 6:45 Eastern tonight,
Mm-hmm.
Tony Khan tweeted the match for Rampage between Andrade El Idolo and 10 of the Dark Order is canceled.
Oh,
It is now Death Triangle versus Dark Order, including 10 for the Trios Championships.
wow. Okay. That's interesting.
Yep.
I
Fresh
think
off the
one of
presses with that one.
yeah, I think the interesting thing was that well, we've seen it. Like Andrade hasn't really been booked that well. Again, poor booking AEW. He is a great talent. In terms of this, it was weird because Roosh just got signed. Roosh was just
Mhm.
made officially all elites, right? So it was weird that Roosh is here and now Andrade's leaving. So I thought this was work. I thought this was just a work that this is just something that again AEW, I was hoping this is not AEW not being able to control their back room. And I was like, okay, this has to be a work. But now that the match is canceled, that concerns me a bit because maybe this is not a work. Maybe this is some truth here, right? Like the whole mask versus Andrade leaves forever was kind of weird to me. I was like, so was 10 gonna join the Dark Order? Sorry, not gonna join Andrade because he's been trying to recruit him for such a long time. So it just came out of the blue, and also just an FYI, this Friday it was supposed to be the anniversary of the Brody Lee's I think win for TNT. So it was like, okay, there's no way 10 is losing this match, right? So I was like, wow, is Andrade really leaving? Interesting that the match was canceled.
Yeah, and do you know what? I mean, in all honesty, you mentioned, well, if it was a work. I don't care
Mhm.
if this was a work.
Mhm.
If this was a work, it was one of the most poorly planned works I've ever seen in my life. It is
Yep.
garbage.
Yep.
Garbage. These two guys both know better. Both of them are complete idiots for taking this argument public. Complete and
Yes.
utter idiots. It's like, can Tony just take Twitter away from all of his staff for a while? Because apparently they're children and they don't know how to use Twitter. Because this
Yeah.
is getting freaking ridiculous. It's
Yep.
like, guys, do either one of you, I mean, look, I get it. Andrade's pissed. You don't want to be here, don't be here. You know,
Mhm.
and I don't care. I said this yesterday when we saw the tweets, and I'm like, listen, Tony, anyone who doesn't want to work for your company, release them. Who cares? Let them go back to your competition. They're just going to be these disgruntled, whiny, like whatevers. Let them go. Who cares? They think the grass is so much greener on the other side of that fence. Go. Who cares? I don't want them in AEW. What we really want in AEW, we want those people who back in the beginning wanted to be here 100%. You know, people who want to fight for the company. You know, and if he's gotten rid of Andrade and kept Sammy, even though Sammy was real mouthy here, at least Sammy's a day one AEW guy.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Sammy fits the kind of style of wrestling they do in AEW. And yeah, maybe Andrade wasn't given enough of a chance. And that's on AEW. They got to learn from this. They brought
Mhm.
in too many guys too fast. They just picked up, and we've talked about this before. They picked up all those guys from NXT and stuff. They just signed them all, everyone that would come. And that's a big mistake. Big mistake. We didn't need that many more wrestlers in this company.
No,
Right.
definitely.
So,
Right. Yeah, and that's it, right? I mean, it's kind of like, okay, I don't want to beat a dead horse here because like legit, this is what we've been talking about forever now.
oh, tell
Ever
me
since
about it.
ever since AEW's been just signing everyone left, right, and center. And yeah, you listen, if a big name comes up that's gonna help your company, you sign them. CM Punk was a good name that you know what would help your company. Guess what? You sign him, right? Like Adam Cole, you sign him. Brian Danielson, you sign them. But then it got to the point where everyone was being signed. And then the talent that you had and the new talent you brought in, you did nothing with them. Buddy Matthew, like what's his name? Malachi Black. Like we're talking about the same thing over and over and over again
Mm-hmm.
about AEW, right? And the fights that we do get or the wrestling matches we do get, they're great. But you know, it's getting better now since the Elite left because it seems like Tony Khan's trying to gain control and he's getting help now. But my whole thing is like we had such a great roster, we
Mm-hmm.
just added to it, and yeah, people are going to get lost in the shuffle. But then stop. I remember we talked about this on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Do something with your other shows.
Yeah.
Make people relevant on those other shows, right?
Yep.
And I really honestly, I'll tell you the truth. I wasn't an Andrade fan when he was in WWE. I became an Andrade fan when he joined AEW because
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize how phenomenal this guy was, right?
Right.
And if this isn't a work, and if this actually is true, Andrade, good luck to you. Go back to WWE. But one thing, you're not going to beat Roman Reigns. They're not going to put you over Cody. So what are you going to do? Right?
Sit on
You
NXT.
you're going to go to, yeah, you're going to be, guess what? Mid card there too. And I strongly believe you shouldn't be. Like I'm with him on this,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just poor booking. And again, I'm gonna point fingers at Tony Khan. Again, you're dropping the ball. Control your back room. Control your wrestlers. As you said, cut this out. This is not. This is that the CM Punk made the company look terrible. This is
Mm-hmm.
just adding to it.
Yep. Precisely. Yeah,
So
it's a terrible image. Terrible,
yeah.
terrible image. And it's you know what? It's gotten to the point too where I'm just kind of like, can we just like, this too shall pass. It will eventually be gone. And even if AEW doesn't have those big names and isn't drawing those great people, you know what the good news is? We'll be able to get tickets in Toronto the next time they come.
Exactly.
And it'll have all the wrestlers we love because the guys that we really don't care about will have gone away.
Yeah.
And it'll be a good show. And I'm completely fine with that.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
Yeah.
Ring of Honor used to sell like smaller places out when they came to Toronto because it was really good wrestling. And
Yeah.
there are a bunch. That's what I mean. This is what we're about here anyway at One Winged Wrestling is really good wrestling. So
Yeah.
fix the ship,
Yeah.
bring back the really good wrestling. Kenny
Yeah.
Bucks.
No,
Um,
yeah.
get it going. And let's just, and again, it's almost becoming our sub motto around here these
Yeah.
days, just enjoy wrestling.
You know, the weird part is that, for wrestling shows in general,
Mhm.
you need drama because that spices things up, right?
Yeah.
But I think we've gotten so much recently that every outlet is just fed up now. We're kind of like, guys, can we just have wrestling again and not worry about all this garbage? Like,
Can we have the
come
drama in the
on.
stories and not in real
Oh
life?
my
That would be really
God.
great. That'd be
Yeah.
really great. So we can,
Yeah.
like I just said, just enjoy wrestling.
Just enjoy wrestling.
But you know what I'm
Exactly.
going to do tonight? I'm going to forget about this crap to the best of my ability.
Same.
And I am just going to enjoy wrestling because we have a lot on this episode of Dynamite tonight.
Yep. So let's jump into it.
And let's do that because it is coming to us from the Entertainment and Sports Arena in Washington, D.C., and it is the Dynamite. Can you believe it? 3-year
3 year.
anniversary show.
I'm
Pretty
kind of sad
amazing.
the Bucks and Kenny aren't there to celebrate it, but it's okay.
But there are some pretty darn good talents there to do
there
so.
are. There
So,
are.
and unfortunately, there is something going on that I'm not going to say is going to be that great. But they're going to have this thing called National Scissoring Day with the Acclaimed and
So
Badass.
I will tell you why this is gonna be great. Want me to tell you why this is gonna be great?
Because someone's going to break it up and smash it to
That's
pieces.
right. And
Oh,
the
yes.
person who's gonna break it up, Swerve is showing up today.
Nice.
I'm making a guarantee Swerve is coming back today. Right.
Yeah.
So you know me, just as long as I get to see Swerve and Keith Lee, I'm happy. So if they break it up, it's just gonna all they need to do is come out and say, hey, you guys cheated. You guys are the good guys, and you needed to cheat to beat us. And that's all they need to say.
Yeah, I'm just kind of concerned though that because it is National Scissoring Day, they're going to somehow continue their little comeuppance streak. But no, I have almost no interest in this segment, but I know that 98% of the fans do. So those of you who love this kind of stuff, please, by all means, bask in it, enjoy it, relish it. I will just sigh and pray for Swerve to show up because if Swerve shows up, I'm going to enjoy the segment. If Swerve doesn't show up and they just have this great passing around of the utensils party, whatever. Fine. That's great. You can pretend you're DX and we can move on with our lives, right?
Fair enough.
Straight into the TNT championship match with, remember we were just talking about this. How
Mm-hmm.
come he never defends the belt? Well, he's defending the belt. Wardlow is taking on Brian Cage.
Yeah, I saw this and I was like, Brian Cage, who actually wrestled on Dark this week as well.
Elevation. Yeah.
You know what? I'm happy to see Brian Cage back. I
Mhm,
really am. Like, I think he's a great talent that, again, wasted. Right?
mhm.
Listen, no offense to Wardlow, Brian Cage is a way better wrestler than Wardlow, and probably should be the one holding the TNT title besides
Yeah.
him, right? So we know what's gonna happen. Wardlow's not losing this match, and if he does, I am going to be ultimately shocked. But Wardlow's not losing this. So Brian Cage is getting fed to Wardlow today. But I hope there's a good showing. I hope Wardlow. I hope Brian Cage shows why he's the better big man in this match. And then Wardlow gets the win. I'm okay with Wardlow getting the win. But yeah, I know what's gonna happen. There's no way. There's no way Brian Cage wins this match.
No way. There is one way I could see Brian Cage winning this match.
Okay.
If they're really serious about the Warjo tag team, then if like we were saying, these guys don't need belts. So, I mean,
They
wouldn't the
don't.
belt do better on someone like Brian Cage, who could then bring the TNT title back to prominence? But I do get the feeling this is more just let's make sure that Wardlow gets a match once in a while. So it'll be a competitive match. I think this will be
Yeah.
probably one of Wardlow's most competitive matches.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it
Agreed.
will be. Brian Cage's match on Elevation wasn't bad at all. He
Because
took
Brian
on a
Cage is
guy who was a
good.
bit
That's
more,
why.
yeah, it was good. I enjoyed the match. But yeah, no, I think Wardlow's coming out on top too. I can see a slim hope for Brian Cage, but I wouldn't pick him if I had to bet.
Mhm.
Speaking of people who are going to stomp things, Luchasaurus is in action.
Whenever I hear someone is in action, they never give you a name. I'm always thinking job. It's that someone's getting job today, right?
Hmm.
It's gonna be like, I'm okay with this. It's gonna carry along the storyline. Christian Cage is still injured. Maybe Jungle Boy comes in for the save or comes in to help
Mm,
out whoever's getting crushed.
right,
Um, but again, not it's one of those matches I'm just really not interested in.
right. So yeah, I mean that makes sense. I have minor interest in it just because I want to see kind of what happens with the story. I do definitely sometimes feel bad for, the jobbers because,
Mhm.
obviously someone's going to get fed to him. But
Yep.
what's very interesting? If you really want to get a new respect for what it is to be an actual jobber in wrestling, there's a great chapter in the Storyteller's book by Greg Oliver and Stephen Johnson that I just finished reading recently. And there's a chapter in on jobbers. And they talk about, like, he interviewed a bunch, and they were talking about like their role in the different federations and the territories and how you go about being a jobber. Because the whole point is you're going to be given a match, and it might be really short or it might be longer. And you're kind of told you need to make the guy look good this way, and you work with the guy. And it's amazing because they'll be like, I know you do this big aerial move. So look, this one guy was saying he had gymnastic training, right? So he's like, if you do this like this, you can get me way up in the air. Right. So he actually did it so that it made the guy look even better. And it's amazing how they work with the guy so that when they're selling for them, it makes them look even more powerful. And I was like, wow, that is really good
Makes
storytelling.
sense.
Like it's
Makes
it's
sense.
such an
Yeah.
intricate, like, if you take your role seriously as the loser, you can add so much to the story of wrestling. And it was just
Yep.
such a cool insight. But I just thought I'd share that because I was reading that going, man, it made me see jobbers in an entirely different light.
Well, think about it. Everyone has a role to play, right?
Hmm.
So if you like, not it's like any sports team. Not everyone can be the superstars,
Right.
but there are support players there, right? And
Absolutely.
and the jobbers are the support players. I hate calling them jobbers, but I really do.
Yeah.
But you're right. They're the supports. They're like the wingmen. The wingmen know exactly what they're there for,
Exactly.
right? So
You mean like the
I
faction in
yeah,
AEW?
yeah, like most of the factions in it, like everything. So
Yeah,
like
yeah.
like I wouldn't be surprised if he's fighting QT Marshall tonight, right? I wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised, right? It's just that these guys know their roles. They understand that, hey, at the end of the day, they're getting paid.
Yep.
They love doing what they love doing. So
Do
why
you know who
not,
one of the
right?
biggest heels on New Japan Strong is?
Who
QT Marshall.
is he really?
Oh yeah, he is.
Oh,
Him and
that's
the whole
awesome.
factory are there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it actually is awesome. They're like a group of the bad guys on New Japan Strong. It's pretty great because QT comes out and people are booing, and he's like at ringside for Aaron Solo's matches and getting involved. Yeah, it was pretty good times. He plays a very good smarmy heel at ringside, right? So
Nice.
anyway, next up we have Toni Storm, Athena, and Willow Nightingale taking on Jamie Hayter, Serena Deeb, and Penelope Ford.
Yeah, obviously because Britt's injured. That's why she's not in this match. Thanks Athena for that drop on her face.
Hmm.
Um, I think this match will be good, just by the people in it. Again, I always say, whenever Tony Storm is not alone,
Hmm.
she can actually work a match with a lot more people, right? So again, a three-way match. I mean, Penelope Ford is highly underrated.
Oh yeah.
I think again, one of the AEW originals. We have to remember that, and highly underrated. So I think Serena Deeb, obviously Jamie Hayter. I think it's gonna be good. I think
Hmm.
it'll be a good match.
This could be the best trios of women that I've seen yet. I mean, it's just insanely good. I mean, well, I guess if you put Britt Baker in instead of or instead of Penelope Ford, you have like just as good, maybe slightly better. But
Mhm.
this is certainly, if you take Britt Baker out of the equation, one of the best trios you could put together. because you nailed it. Penelope Ford has been having those mixed gender matches with Kip Sabian on Elevation recently, and she's been amazing.
And the things she's always been good,
Yeah, no, exactly.
right?
And it's like, all those when she was tagging with the bunny and they had that hardcore match. And yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, just she's an amazing wrestler. I want to see more Penelope Ford. She's so good. And you put her with Jamie Hayter and Serena Deeb, both of whom are amazing.
Agreed.
And it's such a great trio. So yeah, I'm actually looking forward to see those three work together. That'll be pretty great. And I mean, Willow Nightingale's very good. Athena's very good. And then we have Tony Storm. You know,
Exactly. Yeah.
exactly. So she'll get through the match, I'm sure. Hopefully, we'll see we'll see a tornado DDT. We'll see a
And
hip
another one.
attack. Yeah, and
Another
we'll see.
tornado
Yeah,
duty.
yeah, exactly. And then we'll see a really lazy looking pile driver at some point, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And,
Called Storm
they'll
Zero,
yell
whatever it's
that it's
called.
the Storm Zero, and
Yeah.
everyone will be cheering. It'll be good times. I shouldn't be so negative, but I don't get it, guys. I don't get it. If someone could explain to me why she's so good, I would love that.
Agreed.
Anyway, then we have MJF versus Wheeler Yuta.
There are a couple matches on tonight that potentially could steal match of the night.
Mhm.
And this is one of them. Like, I'm going to start the list now. This is one of them, right? Because the whole thing is that, like, MJF, remember one thing we complained about, he never wrestles. Well,
Mhm.
he's wrestling Wheeler Yuta. If these, I said it last week, if these guys, well, I believe everything MJF said in terms of they came through the indies together.
Yeah.
I strongly believe this match is going to be really, really good. Like, if not what the 1B to the 1A today, right?
Mhm.
So I'm expecting big things because remember, they're going to build MJF up big. So when he beats Moxley, it's going to be earned. Like, he's going to beat Moxley. So I'm waiting and I'm hoping no one interferes. I really do hope that none of that group, I forget their name of them, interfere. But
Firm.
the firm, yeah. So I think this might be the dark horse tonight.
Yep. Hey, I heard today that Scorpio Sky is going to be part of the firm with Ethan Page.
Oh, okay. I'm glad those two are together, but I'm
Yeah,
just
because
I don't
Dan
want them to be
Lambert
in the.
left, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I miss
Although
Dan Lambert.
yeah, I know. I miss him. He was great with the Men of the Year, but yeah, apparently. But anyway, to get back to the match in hand, yeah, no, I completely agree with you. This could very well steal. I mean, my God, the next four matches we're going to
I
talk
know.
about
I know.
seriously. So yeah, this could steal match of the night. We may be wrong about the possible match of the night.
Yeah,
Wheeler Yuta is just so good. MJF is so good in the ring.
exactly.
MJF is such a great storyteller. Wheeler Yuta has improved so much in that aspect. So yeah, I can't wait to see this match. This is the kind of stuff where I'm just like, awesome. And look at this,
Yeah.
two AEW. Well, I mean, Wheeler Yuta came in a little later, but still, they both came up through AEW, right?
Yep.
So these are two essentially homegrown talents. So yeah, and then we move on to Daniel Garcia and Bryan Danielson taking on Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara.
Again, another match that has the opportunity to be match of the night. Like Daniel Garcia and Bryan Danielson, are fantastic. I love how they've teamed up the old WWE guys with the new AEW guys, like Danny
Mhm.
Garcia with Bryan Danielson and Chris Jericho with Sammy Guevara. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing, right? And the thing about Jericho and Danielson and even Garcia now, right? Because Sammy's still getting there. Their ability to tell stories. The one thing I love about Sammy is we know he does crazy stuff and he sells these things, right?
Mhm.
We're always like, Sammy, why are you doing these things? Just stop it, right?
Yeah.
So I'm expecting this match to be very, very good. Again, another dark horse. I don't know. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know, right?
Yeah, no, I agree. This could very well be match of the night. We have four phenomenal
I
wrestlers
know.
in the ring. Like just insane. The combinations we're gonna see, like Garcia versus Guevara, Danielson versus Guevara. I mean, it's Jericho. It's just I'm stumbling over it because I'm so excited to see the match. It's just this
Yep.
is my kind of wrestling, right? Like
Same.
this whole end of this Dynamite is my kind of wrestling. So yeah, I can't wait to see this match. It's going to be wonderful. I'm wondering what's going to happen with Daniel Garcia. There's such an interesting story
Same.
here, too,
Same.
right? That's been building for such a long time. And this is just the next stage in it. And I'm so curious as to what's going to happen because it's not just the match, there's a story behind the whole
Oh
match,
yeah.
too. So,
Definitely.
yeah,
Definitely.
very interesting. Very interesting. A match where there isn't quite as much story is Darby Allin taking on Jay Lethal.
Yeah, but two phenomenal wrestlers. Like Lethal is so amazing, and Darby
Mhm.
Allin, like a Sammy, just does stupid things, and I'm always like, why? Why are you doing these things? Um, and but these guys are going in and they're giving it everything,
Yep.
right? So another one where I'm like, maybe this match is just so much fun that it just steals everything, right? No
Yep.
interference. The only thing that might take away from it is Satnam Singh and Thing are showing up
The
at some
Lethal
point,
told
right?
them not to.
He told them not to, but I
Yeah.
think it's time Lethal needs to leave those guys. They're adding nothing to him,
Yeah, I
right?
agree totally.
Right. So I'm thinking that if they do end up fighting and they do interfere, it might cause a rift. But I think it's too early for that kind of stuff. Well, I'm just expecting a good match between these two guys.
Yeah. Oh yeah, this is another potential match of the night candidate. Easily.
Yep.
I mean, Darby Allin is such a good wrestler. Jay Lethal is such a good wrestler. You put them
Mm-hmm.
together in the ring for a match, and it's just going to be crazy.
Yep.
Right. And like you said, Darby Allin is nuts. We have no idea what this guy's going to do in a ring. Right. So him versus Jay Lethal, I'm really looking forward to
Same.
this too. It's like
Same.
another match. I mean, they really put together a good third anniversary show, right?
9 matches
Yeah. And we're
or
talking
nine
about,
things happening.
yep,
Yeah.
another AEW original taking on a guy who, from Ring of Honor, right? So, long-standing career in Ring of Honor, long-standing career in the Indies. So, it's that kind of match. And then we come to the match that you and I both said on Monday is going to be our pick for match of the night. And it is Roosh taking on Hangman Adam Page.
Yeah, I have no doubt in my head that this is going to be the match of the night. These two guys, they hit hard, they're fast, they're big guys, right? Like these are the type of wrestlers that WB wishes they had, right?
Mm,
And I like, again, Hangman Page, day one, right? Roosh, he's been part of AAA and stuff like that. Like
hmm
so I
Ring of
am,
Honor,
and
yep.
ever since I've seen him wrestle, like this guy is phenomenal, right?
hmm
So I am very interested and excited about this match because I know it's gonna be hard hitting. I know it's gonna be fast. I kind of I kind of feel Hangman's winning this match because he has to go up and face Moxley, which he's gonna lose too. But this is gonna be this is gonna be a fantastic match. And again, you can say what you want, like you can call anybody a jobber, and guess what? What Hangman's gonna do for Roosh, vice versa, what Hangman's gonna do for Mox as well, like get Mox gonna keep the belt. He's technically jobbing to them as well, right? Because he's losing to them. But look at that. This guy is a professional. I have nothing negative to say about him. He's so, like, he puts on the best matches. He's probably the biggest babyface that AEW has just kept. He's like what he reminds me of? A John Cena without the booze. Because it doesn't matter what you do, this guy is just always he's people the fans just love him, right? And they love him, like maybe not to the Cena extent, but he's always been good. It doesn't matter what's happened. Hangman has always he's like a Captain America. It's black and white to him. It's good. It's wrong or it's not, right? And
Right.
and that's what I respect about Hangman is like his character. Like, is if there's one person that I don't need to see go bad, it's Adam Page, right? So
Right.
I love Adam Page, and honestly, I'm excited for this match.
Do you know who he reminds me of?
Who's that?
Kerry Von Erich.
Okay, okay,
Yeah. Because that total baby face.
yeah,
Everyone loves him. The women love him.
yeah.
It's like, and he has that same kind of charisma, right? It's not quite the John
No,
Cena super
definitely not.
cool guy that thinks he's awesome, like blech, charisma that always gets under my skin. This is, just he's just his presence just says charisma.
He seems like a genuine nice person.
That's it
That's it.
exactly. He comes across as authentic. He comes
Yeah,
across as genuine. He comes across like the guy that if you actually met him, he'd probably be
yeah,
the nicest guy in the world, right?
exactly.
And it's almost impossible to see him being a heel because
Exactly.
he seems too nice to
Yeah,
be a heel. But I'm so glad that that's the case because wrestling needs guys like
they
that,
need
right?
they need
Like
these guys.
he's so
Exactly.
cool
Yeah,
because of that. And Roosh is just such a bastard. He's
so
almost at
good.
that Pac level of
Yep.
bastard, right? Like he's just he's gonna cheat his ass off. He's gonna do anything he can. He's just cocky as hell. He's got so much personality in the ring. And these two guys are so good. This match is going to rock,
Oh
right? I
hell
mean,
yeah.
look at
Hell
the
yes.
offering that they are giving us tonight in
Mm-hmm.
AEW. You know, we've been sitting here talking about it, but let's take a moment to thank Tony Khan and the rest of the
Yeah.
booking for this card tonight, because oh my God, you're short the elite, you're having some issues in some other areas, but look at the card you put together.
Yeah. Phenomenal.
Phenomenal. There's
Yeah.
almost nothing. I mean,
Agreed.
there's something for everybody. You've got
Yep.
like your little acclaimed scissoring thing going on for people. Wardlow's going to crush Brian Cage, right? And then you've got these four phenomenal matches at the end. And in all likelihood, the women's match is going to be great too.
It's gonna be good. Yeah.
So it's
Agreed.
like, what a dynamite. I cannot wait to go watch the show.
Same. And we should go watch the show.
We should go watch the show. Let's go watch the show. We will be back. And that was the Dynamite 3-year anniversary show from the Entertainment and Sports Arena in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, it sure was.
Yeah, and it was even a long one too. I mean, that
Mhm.
longest Dynamite ever, I think, 2 hours and 15 minutes. Well, it started off with Taz, Tony Schiavone, and Excalibur on commentary, joined by William Regal, because we go right off the top with MJF's music hitting, and he's taking on Wheeler Yuta. It has been 128 days since MJF's last match in AEW. There was a bit of dueling crowd, but the crowd was also very strongly for Wheeler Yuta, especially right out at
Mhm.
the beginning. The match starts off with Yuta just coming out flying, arm drags, drop kick, pump handle slam, but then he gets suckered into a corner and MJF face plants him into a turnbuckle and takes control. There's a backbreaker gut wrench combo by MJF for 2 that sends it into commercial. There was a series of really hard Irish whips. I mean, something as simple as an Irish whip that just looked like it was killing Yuta. Yuta finally reverses one of them and like just nails MJF into the corner too. Both of them are down. There was a German suplex series by Yuta, 4 of them with Yuta heading to the top rope. But MJF, this was kind of an ongoing thing. MJF rolls out of the way of Yuta going to the top rope. That was the second time. MJF does this wicked power bomb onto his knee for a 2 count. It just looked nuts. Rolling series of back and forth pins, though. I mean, like, this is crazy. You have to see it to actually see it. Then they
Yeah.
go into this back and forth set of tombstones into another back and forth pinning series. Then they clothesline each other down. The crowd is on their feet, standing ovation. I have never seen a sequence like this. Yuta gets to the top rope again, but MJF catches him, sets up for an avalanche tombstone, but Yuta rakes the eyes. Avalanche Hurricane Rana, Tope Suicida. Then he climbs to the top, and MJF rolls out of the way, gives Yuta the finger, but this time, Wheeler Yuta splashes him 3/4 of the way across the ring. He then puts the seatbelt onto MJF, but MJF manages to reverse it into the salt of the earth. Yuta tries to escape, but he ends up tapping. Krishna, what did you think of this match?
Fantastic. You know, the you're probably gonna hear this a lot tonight, but this episode of Dynamite was great. I mean, to celebrate 3 years, I think they did it the right way. Um, yeah, I had said at the beginning of the show that, you know, these guys, they said they went through the indies together, and I wanted to see that on display today. And we have to remember, we have to hype MJF because he's going to be facing off for the belt soon, so we need to get him in matches. This was a well wrestled match, and MJF tried to play the heel, but like you can tell these guys have chemistry. And I you know, to kick off the show, I was like a little bit shocked. I'm like, is this gonna be slow? No, it was not. It was not slow in any way. And a lot of that, and you know, MJF is awesome, but a lot of it you saw Wheeler Yuta shine today as well, right? This guy, there's just so like that little pinning predicament where they kept rolling back and forth is not, and I love how the commentators pointed out that is not easy to do what's
No.
happening right now, right? Like the
Mhm.
amount of core strength you need for that, and they just kept going and going, and they went to the bridge and they came. It was a great match. Like I thoroughly enjoyed this match.
Yeah, this match was insane. My match of the night.
Oh,
There were
okay,
so many good
okay.
matches on the show, but this was my match of the night because you had such a good story in the match,
Mhm.
right? You had MJF just working, and MJF, we his offense is just so perfectly
Mm-hmm.
designed for a heel, but he's
Mm-hmm.
so good at
He's
wrestling
good.
too.
Yep.
Like, look, right before the AEW started, I watched a match between Wheeler Yuta and MJF from Beyond Wrestling a few years back. And I watched this match. It was only 10 minutes long, but
Mhm.
holy crap, I was watching this match going, are they going to top this tonight? This is
Yeah.
such a good match, right? It was a story built around Wheeler Yuta's arm, and it was just, I'm like, so good, right? And MJF won that one too, by the way.
Oh,
But so I'm watching this one going, how is this one going to come close? I mean, is it going to be a bit slower opening match? No, this one
no,
beat
it
that
wasn't
match.
slow. It
This
wasn't slow.
match was insane. That pinning combination thing where they were on the, and then
Yeah.
up into the tombstone and then back into
Yeah.
another pinning
Mhm.
combination. It was absolutely nuts. Like, I was literally like marking out in my seat while trying to type notes, right? Like, I was at one point I was clapping. Kush came down later and goes, I heard you clapping. And like
Yeah.
she was sitting in a room with a closed door. So yeah, I loved this match. I was so into it. And just the ending was perfect. The fact that it was perfectly clean,
Mm-hmm.
right? Except,
Mm-hmm.
they both did some eye gouges and stuff, blah, blah, blah. But a clean victory by MJF makes him strong. Yuta loses nothing in this match
Nope.
at all. I mean, it
Nope.
was just so well fought by both of them. This is my kind of wrestling right
Wow.
here.
So I
This
guess
kind of
right
match.
away that spoiler alerts, the Roosh and Hangman match wasn't your favorite match of the
It was
night.
not my favorite match, but
Okay.
I will be happy to talk about it later too.
Perfect.
Anyway,
Perfect. I'll give you a little snippet of information. Um, the Hangman Roosh match was also not my favorite match of the night. So I'll keep you
ooh,
intrigued for that one.
now I'm curious as to what
Also, one
was.
thing I want to point out, and I had an issue with this throughout the whole night. The audience. I had a
Yeah,
problem with the audience tonight. What the hell was
really.
wrong with the audience? I really did. There were parts of the show where I was like, "Wow, this is so awesome." Dead, right? And then there were parts where like, "Okay, this is okay." They're going nuts. I'm like, "What am I watching that this audience is not watching?" Right? And it actually started off with the Yuta match, and I was like, "Are they getting into this as much as I think they should be getting it?" I was enjoying it more than they were.
But they gave
But
him a standing
they
ovation.
did. No, they did. It close exactly close, but closer to the end. I think when it started off, there wasn't really anything there. But
Really?
but but yeah, throughout this entire show, I was like, audience, you need to get up a little bit.
Really? I had almost the exact opposite
Oh
reaction of
yeah,
the audience tonight. That is so weird.
yeah. I
Because I,
didn't.
I honestly felt like they were really into this match. I heard the dueling chants regularly. Like, I thought the audience added to this match.
Yeah, no, I didn't.
Wow.
This is one show where I'm like, I don't know. The audience to me took away from this show.
Wow.
That's how I felt watching it. But
Huh.
again, I mean, that's just all I felt because
No, I think
maybe
that's so cool. The fact that
yeah.
we could both listen to the same show and we're both
And
like, oh, I think the audience was great. You're
I was
like,
like,
no,
nope.
man, the audience sucked. Yeah, that's crazy. Huh.
Yeah,
Yeah. Wow. Anyway, so yeah, no, I mean, we both thought it was a great match though.
great
So
match,
there
great
you go. But
match.
after
Yeah,
the match,
good opening.
Yuta tries to shake MJF's hand, going for the code of honor, but Lee Moriarty jumps Yuta from behind. But
Hmm.
MJF turns around and he flips out on Moriarty, saying, I didn't ask you to do that. What are you doing? Right. And then Hathaway hands MJF the diamond ring. But William Regal stands up from the announce deck and he pulls out his brass knuckles and puts them on. The rest of the firm bails out of the ring, leaving MJF. And William Regal steps in, and the crowd is chanting, "You fucked up at MJF."
Yeah,
And so MJF just looks at him and leaves.
weird, right? I was like, at first, I was like, are we seeing MGF face turn here? I was so confused, right? Or and then I thought, okay, maybe it's his buddy because again, he was giving Yuta lots of props before that. But I'm like, odd behavior from MJF, and
Right.
I don't know where this is going, but I'm intrigued.
Yeah, so am I, because it was a little bit of a face-ish
Mm-hmm.
reaction, like I didn't ask you to do that, right?
Yeah.
Like, okay, that's interesting. But by the same token, he didn't really seem to care that they then beat down Wheeler Yuta, right? Like, he's not like going, oh no, guys,
S-
stop. He was just kind of like, oh
yeah.
well. Right.
Similar, we'll talk about it. We get to the next with the other match.
Hmm.
Similar things happened, right? So
Yeah, it
yeah.
was a very interesting episode of
Hmm.
Dynamite.
Hmm.
I loved the whole William Regal thing though, right? Like still he's such a great mentor for the Blackpool comp. It was funny too when MJF was slapping Wheeler Yuta in the ring and Regal's on commentary going, yeah, of course he's not gonna feel that. I slap him all the
We
time.
all slap him.
Yeah, we all slap him. Like, that's great. Oh yeah, no, Regal adds so much on commentary when he's doing the Blackpool Combat Club matches. I love the guy. But anyway, yeah, no, so this to me was just a fired up opener. I was right into this
Yeah,
episode of
this
Dynamite, and
this
it goes
match was awesome.
into a video on the main event recapping the long feud between these teams. And we get a promo with the Jericho Appreciation Society in the back with Toni. And Daddy Magic immediately starts it off going, Garcia, after everything, you want to spit in our face. No problem. But you take a gift, that hat, and you threw it on the ground. And we see Jake Hager wearing the hat, and he goes, I like this
I
hat.
like this hat.
Angelo Parker goes, we're family, but you've lost your way. Jericho, you're like the child that sticks his finger into the light socket, even though you were told not to. You know, every trick you know, we taught you. We taught you how to be the best sports entertainer. And Tony interrupts and goes, you mean by cheating? And Jericho goes, you say potato, I say
I say potato.
potato. But Garcia better make the right decision. And Daddy matches it. And if you don't, we're going to pop you.
Yeah, no, it's funny. Again, it's letting the Jericho Appreciation Society shine. But like it's just so funny.
Yeah.
I liked it. It was good.
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah, no, it was great. I liked it too. It was funny. I mean, I was laughing during this thing constantly. So yeah, they're great. They're great. So then we move on to Jay Lethal's music hitting, followed up by Darby Allin. And it's they're up, and Jay Lethal kept his promise. He came out without
Hmm.
Satnam Singh or Sanjay Dutt. So there's an amazing grappling exchange to open it that ends in like a pin and a counter pin. Darby then goes for the code of honor at that point, but Lethal hits him instead. Lethal drop kicked out Allen's knee, and this becomes the story now because
Hmm.
Lethal goes to work on
Yep.
Allen's knee, like just move after move after move on that knee. Darby tries to get it. He ends up actually landing a Scorpion Death Drop, but he can't follow up because he buckles on the knee, which sends it to commercial. Um, Lethal does this wicked looking inverted suplex that lands Darcy on his knee. Darcy,
Darcy.
Darby, and Darcy. Darby fights off Lethal on the turnbuckle, but there's an avalanche dragon screw then from the top
Yeah.
into a figure four. Darby manages to get to the ropes. He dodges a lethal injection and counters it into a code red for two. Sanjay Dutt then comes out with Singh. But Lethal's standing there. He gets distracted by this and starts yelling at them to leave. Like he points to the back. But when he's distracted, Darby manages to hit him with a Hurricane Rana for two. And then there's a pin series where they go back and forth again, somewhat like the last match.
Hmm.
Darby then, though, locks on the Last Supper out of this pinning back and forth for a 3 count.
Yeah.
And that
No, this
ends the match.
this was a good match as well. Again, back to back great matches. Um, I didn't appreciate. I called it. I said that was going to happen. Right. There's going to be some
Mhm.
type of outside interference by
Mhm.
Sanjay Dutt and Satnam Singh.
Mhm.
But I didn't expect what was going to happen afterwards. Right. This was a great like Scorpios. Oh my God. Jay Lethal. He is amazing. He's like him and Serena Deeb. They have that Bret Hart type wrestling where
Mhm.
they can single out a body part and they just take it apart. That's dragon screw from the top rope. I was like,
Mhm.
okay, so Darby's leg is gone. So Darby Allin has no
Yes.
leg anymore, right? And just watching, I'm like, this is the type. Like again, last week you said I never thought I wanted to see a match between Darby Allin and Jay Lethal, but I was intrigued. This match was great. This match was great. Like honestly, like yeah, the ending was a little bit like okay, sure, these idiots came in, but I liked what happened afterwards. Right.
Yes.
Remember, I had said something. This probably is gonna
Yeah,
happen.
yeah,
I
yeah,
liked
yeah.
what happened afterwards.
Oh yeah, exactly. No, this match, you're right. Jay Lethal, he just great match after great match after great match. I mean, he was one of the guys I saw at that original show that came to Toronto back in the day, and just such a phenomenal wrestler. But you know what really made it look phenomenal? Darby Allin selling it like
Selling,
a
I was gonna say, yeah,
goddamn champ.
yeah.
Like that guy, he made it like just being whipped and falling on his face instead of being able to get up. Every move he did, he was stumbling on the leg. I mean, Darby sold that knee like he had been killed. And that just made Jay Lethal look that much more lethal. Right?
Yep.
It was so good. This was like, it was like a 1B to the 1A match of the night. The ending for me too brought it down just a notch. I mean, I don't like distraction
Yeah.
finishes, and Darby kind of took advantage of it, but it's kind of funny, right? Like the
Hmm.
guys come out and it ends up costing Jay the match.
Yeah.
So I can kind of see where this is going. We talked about this before the show.
Hmm.
Wouldn't it be great if he got rid of the guys?
Yeah.
Well, after the match, Lethal's just left staring at the guys on the stage in shock, right? And then Allin comes over to him and says, "You don't need these guys."
Yeah.
Right. And he's like pushing him a bit, slapping. He goes for the code of honor and he's like giving him this, "Come on, man, you're better than this." Right. And then Lethal actually shakes his hand and leaves the ring.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Jay Lethal, even though he was a bad guy with Satnam Singh and Sanjay Dutt, he's never really just as you could tell with his personality stuff, he's not a bad guy. Like he's not really made to be a bad guy. He's made to be like a good guy in wrestling. So when I saw him kind of turn his back and now he did the code of honor and everything like that, I'm like, yes, you're too good to be hanging out with those two. You're just too good for this. So
Right.
I'm thankful that hopefully that's ending. And I'm just excited to see more Jay Lethal. That's it.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be terrible if he accidentally one day ended up in a tag team with Swerve Strickland?
Oh, swerve, 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 swerve.
Well, yeah, no, I liked this bit at the end too. I think Lethal would be much better on his own or as more of a leader of a group than
Agreed.
as
A
he's kind
lackey.
of
Yeah.
he's kind of the leader, but he's not the leader. Sanjay Dutt seems to pull the strings in this group, but I don't think he needs Sanjay Dutt. I know
He
they have a
doesn't.
connection that goes way back, but I don't think he needs him. And I
No.
think that and look, 2 opening matches, 4 guys that are all insane level wrestlers, right? Just this was like a dream night for me so far. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
wow, these are all like just incredible caliber matches. And then we get a Brian Cage and the Embassy promo. And Brian Cage, the Embassy, for those of you who don't know, is a Ring of Honor stable led by Prince Nana, who is an actual Ashanti prince from Ghana, and Kone and Toa Leona. Both of them, Kone I know is a fairly recent prospect. He's only been around since about 2017, 2018. He's wrestled in AEW a couple times, wrestles in ROH now, part of the Gates of Agony tag team. So that's the stable that Brian Cage is part of. Apparently, Prince Nana bought it from Tully Blanchard. So anyway, there's a promo and Brian Cage says, "This isn't my comeback. I haven't come back from anything. He's been around the whole time. No one's better than me." That was essentially the promo.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just reminding you Brian Cage is here. I was like, who are these guys? But then they kind of explain it as well. So yeah, no.
Mm-hmm.
I was just glad to see Brian Cage back.
Yep. Oh yeah, for sure. And boy was I ever, because then we got the TNT Championship match. Now, I was a little trepidatious about this one, right? I didn't need to be. This opens off with a Hurricane Rana by Wardlow.
Yup. Yup.
Hurricane Rana, you heard me correctly. A Hurricane Rana by Wardlow, and then one by Cage. And Wardlow ends up catching the follow-up Tiger Feint kick and
Yes.
slams Cage down. So I
Yes.
want you guys to all understand this. This match between 2 big guys that would make Vince McMahon drool in his sleep
Yup.
opened with a Hurricane Rana, followed by a Hurricane Rana, followed by a Tiger Feint kick, which for
Yep.
those of you who don't know what that is a 619.
Yep.
Okay. Then okay, so these guys, they just pound on each other, but I mean, they're fast pounding. They're
Mm-hmm.
like beating the crap out of each other. Cage then does an Alabama slam to Wardlow to send it to commercial. I mean, this was like, ouch. There's a press slam during where he just dominates the commercial on Wardlow. Like he's really beating down Wardlow with just
Yeah.
big move after big move. There was a fairly long rear naked choke in the middle of the commercial too, but that's okay. I'll forgive these guys on that one. Wardlow climbs to the turnbuckle and does a reverse moonsault. I can't believe I'm saying this stuff. So Wardlow goes to the turnbuckle, does a reverse moonsault into Germans and then a belly to belly suplex. But Wardlow gets caught on the top and Wardlow's gets suplexed from the apron. Like, okay, Brian Cage is standing on the second rope. Wardlow's on the apron and Cage suplexes him back into the ring.
Yeah.
Yeah. Spinebuster by Wardlow for 2. catching Cage on a run. So Cage is running and Wardlow catches him and spine pressures him. It looked very impressive. Cage then gets a front suplex for 2, but he ends up showing off a little too much and eats 2 headbutts, a lariat, and then finally a powerbomb symphony of 4 power bombs, and Cage gets pinned for 3. What did you think of the match before we get
Great
to that?
match. It just shows you how good Brian Cage actually is. And Wardlow's no slouch himself, but look at this. 2 really big guys. And like I'm sorry, Brian Cage looked bigger than Wardlow in this match. And just the moves and how fast. Like I've always said, Brian Cage moves so quickly in the ring, and holy crap, did it show today. This was a very, very well thought out match in terms of like, we're gonna be quick, but we're also gonna display how powerful each person is, right? Like no one looked weak in this match by any standards, right?
Right.
This match was so much fun. Again, as you said, this is like Vince McMahon's dream match, right? But with people who can actually go and not wrestle the WWE way.
Exactly.
Like these guys are wrestling like luchadors at some point in this match, right? And I was just absolutely blown away. And I don't know why. I've seen Brian Cage wrestle before, so I know. And watching him wrestle, I'm like, I kind of miss Brian Cage actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, right? Like, yeah, he wrestled on Elevation recently, but like I miss seeing him frequently on TV.
Yes.
And this was a great match. And honestly, yes, we knew Wardlow was going to win, but if Brian Cage won, I'd be happy. I would be extremely happy.
I loved this match.
Yeah.
I mean, when have you ever heard me say that about a Wardlow match? Like
Yeah.
ever. Tonight, Wardlow earned me some respect because I was like, damn, dude, you can move when you want to. Like all of a sudden he's wrestling. You know, and I mean, this is the way, if you're going to put 2 big guys in the ring, this is how I want them to fight.
Yeah.
This is the talent level I want them to have. You know, I don't want like some big slogan. Oh, he has a big, impressive looking body, so therefore he must be a good wrestler. I don't want that crap in a ring. I want these guys. These guys put on a match that I'm sitting there going, I was worried. So I'm like, oh, okay, they're following up those 2 first matches. I enjoyed the hell out of this match.
Same.
I loved every second of it. It was well put together. You know, there was, like I said, a bit of a slower spot in the middle, but that's okay. You know, that didn't really bug me. It still looked good. So that's fine. And it was just great. And the finish was exactly what it needed to be to make Wardlow still look like a monster. But Cage gave him a hell of a run. I've never seen Wardlow beaten up so badly either. Right. So yeah, great match. Loved it. And then we get to the after match part. So the gates of agony come running down, and they and Cage jump Wardlow after the match, but Samoa Joe runs out for the save because War Joe. But Joe gets beaten down. So then FTR's music hits to a gigantic pop from the audience. The embassy bails, but there's a big stare down between the gates of agony and FTR, which, as we learn, is setting up their match for the ROH tag team titles on Battle for the Belts.
Yeah, figured. I like the minute that they started getting beaten down, I'm like, wait a minute, where's FTR? I'm like, FTR is gonna show off, aren't they? And yeah, listen, when FTR's music pops, I pop as well, right? So I popped like the audience for FTR. I was happy to see this, and I am curious. And I think I want to see FTR versus the other tag team. So I'm in for it.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing that either. And I mean, I will see it. So yeah, I'm also down for it. They look like a pretty decent pair. I would really like to see them go up against FTR because FTR is amazing. And yeah, we'll see where this goes. I am intrigued.
Agreed.
Then we go to a special announcement from Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. And she says, as the face of the AEW women's division and your role model, I feel morally obligated to answer the question everyone has been asking. The answer is no. Saraya will not be wrestling. Doctors have not cleared her. Let's ship her off in bubble wrap. I guess this makes it my house now. Yours truly, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD.
Yeah, the minute I saw this, I was like, okay, so does that mean Saraya is going to get involved in something? Because there's no way that Britt's coming out and saying this stuff without something else happening. I love Britt, so like I just love the fact that she was here saying this stuff, because I'm like, okay, so maybe it's gonna be like it's like Britt versus Saraya kind of thing. Maybe that might be the next. Who knows down the line, right?
Right.
But yeah, no, I like I love Britt just saying this stuff because she plays the perfect heel, and she should never change that. Never be a good guy in AEW. Always remain a heel.
Yeah, she's amazing. I love Britt, and she really is the face of the AEW women's
Oh,
division
100%.
and should be all of their role model.
Yep.
Exactly. So then we go to Jamie Hayter, Penelope Ford, and Serena Deeb taking on Willow Nightingale, Athena, and Toni Storm. I would just like to point out from the top, Britt didn't need to come out to her music, even though she accompanied Jamie Hayter, Penelope Ford, and Serena Deeb to the ring. But apparently, Saraya needs to come out to her theme music, even though she is just the manager in the corner. Did you see Christian come out to his theme music when Luchasaurus fought tonight?
Nope.
The answer to that is no. Anyway, so the crowd was chanting hard at the beginning for Jamie Hayter and then Serena Deeb. They were really into these two.
I was shocked with the Deeb chant. I was like, really?
Oh, yeah.
Whoa. Okay.
Yep. So Ford hits this Hurricane Rana on Athena, but she ends up landing on her feet. That was a pretty impressive spot. Deeb gets tagged in, and the crowd is just chanting loud for Serena Deeb at this point. There's a springboard crossbody by Athena then for 2. Storm gets Deeb in a corner, but then, I call it cheating. She calls Athena and Willow to just run in the ring. There's no tagging, no nothing, and they both smash into her in the corner. I guess that sets it up so Storm doesn't have to worry about missing the hip attack, so she then does her hip attack. But when Storm goes to knock Hayter and Ford off the apron, Deeb gets her from behind and chop blocks her, sending it to commercial. Then you get this spot after Deeb's worked over Storm for a while where Hayter and Deeb suplex Willow and Athena while Deeb simultaneously leg snaps Storm. Cool spot. Usually those kind of spots they're reserved for the faces, but apparently Hayter and Deeb doing it was essentially doing something like that for the crowd. Storm then gets a hot tag to Willow, and Deeb gets one into Hayter. There's a spine buster by Willow for 2. Deeb tags herself in, but Saraya then takes a crutch away from Rebel. There's a sequence where there's like the chaos just breaks down. They all start hitting each other with big moves that end in Ford landing her cutter for 2. Ford then does a springboard onto the ropes, but Willow catches her with a drop kick right at the moment that she's in her upside down handstand spot against the ropes. It just looked wicked. Then gives her the doctor bomb, and that was the 3 count.
Yeah, this match was great. Like I don't say that a lot with the women's matches because I do feel sometimes they're just booked awkwardly. This match was fast. Like when I mean fast, like it started off quick. When Toni Storm got in the match, and I'm gonna give Toni Storm credit here. Like when she was hitting, like I'm like, holy crap, she's hitting hard, right? And that was against Serena Deeb, so maybe the selling was good there as well. But it was nonstop. Like, yeah, that little cheating spot. I'm like, wait, don't the heels do this? I'm so confused right now. Like, why are you?
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, ref, what the hell are you doing? Why are you in the corner for the other? Anyways. Besides the point. Yeah, no, this match was fast. It was frenetic. It was really good. It actually like Willow Nightingale getting the pin. Hey, bravo, right? Give the pin to the new guys, right? That shot Penelope Ford took when she did the bounce on the rope. Oh my god. I was like, I'm like, holy crap. And then into the Dr. Wiley bomb. That was great. Again, Penelope Ford, so good. So good. I'm just glad they're using her more often now than not. Yeah, this match was fantastic. Like I giving credit where every woman in this match performed, right? And which kind of made the ending, what happens afterwards, kind of like meh, right? But yeah, no, this match was fantastic.
Yep, 4 for 4 tonight, AEW. 4 for 4. My God, what a match! Like, just again, like you said, it was fast. Everything was good. I mean, it was like people's spots made sense. Toni Storm, I would like to give you a little word of advice. Stick to being a brawler style wrestler. Seriously, you looked like you were killing her, and that wasn't just like Deeb. You were hitting hard. Your like Irish whips looked hard. Everything you were doing looked good. It looked solid. It looked hard. It's the most impressive I've ever seen her. Right? She came out. I'm like, wait, is this Toni Storm?
Yeah.
Like, what's going on here right now? Is this the wrestler people have been seeing that I'm unaware of because she keeps trying these other moves and like, yay, look at me, I'm so amazing, and it just looks bad. Like, do more of that. Stop worrying about wrestling like Serena Deeb and
Yeah.
start thinking of yourself as Hangman Page.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, worry about developing the big moves after you get the personality combined with the shots down, right? Because if she can wrestle that style and do it well, go for it. There's not a lot of women in the division that wrestle like
No,
that.
agreed.
So go for it. Be the female Hangman.
Yeah. Why not?
Why not? So yeah, anyway, no, great match. Great match. Look, Serena Deeb is just phenomenal. Her wrestling talent is like superlative. And the fact that the crowd was so heavily behind her really makes me wonder, like, are the people booking the women's division and the people listening to the crowd, are they the same people?
Yeah.
Do they understand the wrestlers we want to see in the ring? Because we end up, and you're right, Willow Nightingale, very good. And, cool that she won the match, but it was setting up for something later that we will get to later on.
Yeah.
But after the end of the match, Britt Baker gets in Saraya's face, and then they end up going at it. Chaos breaks out in the ring, and it ends with Saraya dropping Rebel and screaming, "It's my
It's my
house."
house. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, very tame. Like if you watch the shots that were being thrown and what was happening, I'm like, yeah, this still doesn't prove that Saraya is in any way going to be clear to wrestle. And I love how Excalibur was like after Britt's promo was like, "What doctors? Which doctors told her this?" I'm like, "Come on, Excalibur, come on."
Yeah.
But yeah, again, it it's it's falling flat to me
Mhm.
with what they're doing with her. Like you think the match was so exciting, then they had that little brawl, and you're like, no, I don't care. I don't care for this, right? So I'm just hoping that eventually that changes. But yeah, I'm just not a fan of what's happening. Again, it's only been 2 weeks, so I'm
Mhm.
willing to give it a chance. But so far, I'm not really loving what I'm seeing.
No, because it feels like another person that's been shoehorned into something that's like an AEW natural thing,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
It's just that's the problem, is that it feels like a shoehorning.
Yep.
Right? Like, oh,
Agreed.
look, I am now in charge of these women.
Yeah.
How? How are
Yeah.
you in
What?
charge of anything in
What
AEW?
did you do? What did you do
Yeah.
to
What did
earn
you
that?
do other than wrestle in WWE?
Nothing.
Like, is that the reason you're suddenly in charge? Because what is that saying to the people who've been here the whole time?
Yep.
Right? Like, who are you? So, Britt, beat her up.
Yeah.
End of story. Wrap her in her bubble wrap, ship her off.
Send her home. Yep.
Yeah,
Agreed.
send her home. I don't need to see this. If she wants to come in and work her way up from the bottom like a normal person, go for it.
Yeah.
Right. And if you're
Agreed.
not going to wrestle, then be a manager and stop coming out to your theme music and acting like you own the division, because you don't own the
Yeah.
division. You don't own a damn thing in AEW.
Yeah.
So get over yourself.
Exactly. And also, this is Swerve's house. Let's just get one thing straight.
Exactly. Can we get that straight? This is not Saraya's house. It is not Billy Gunn's house.
Yeah.
It is Swerve's
Swerve's
house. So
house.
we need to make that very clear. Anyway, we go in the back and we have Roosh now with Jose, and they're with Private Party. And Jose tells Private Party they haven't showed up recently, and shows them some clips of like Roosh and Hangman going, where were you? Or here's how Roosh was taking him out. And what were you guys doing? And Roosh tells them, you guys do it. And then Jose says, or we'll take you to court, because I know Matt Hardy has been interfering with you guys.
funny, funny.
Yes.
After a missing Andrade today,
Mhm.
it was funny. It was actually pretty funny. It was a funny
Yeah.
skit. So yeah, no, I was okay with it.
Yeah, I'm totally fine with Roosh being with Jose the assistant.
Yeah,
Yep.
same.
They work. Okay. Then we go out to the ring, and there's a big podium in the middle of the ring and some balloons and some other crap. And we have the Acclaimed, and it's Scissor Appreciation Day or whatever. Anyway, they all come out to their music, and Max Caster raps. He says stuff about Biden not stuttering, and the Acclaimed are homegrown. There's a scissoring section in the crowd, and they're all singing their little song at Daddy-O there. Daddy loves to use the sewing utensils. That's very clear. Anyway, Bowens welcomes them to National Scissoring Day, which he says is brought to you by the Acclaimed, the most popular tag team in all of professional wrestling, the winningest tag team in AEW, the best damn homegrown team in AEW history. And I was just like, where are the Bucks?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Please. Anyway. And he goes, Scissor Me Daddy is now the #1 selling t-shirt in 2022, which only tells me people wear bad t-shirts. The Acclaimed, you're going to see us at AEW stands for the Acclaimed every Wednesday. Okay.
Yeah.
They
Love it.
celebrate by scissoring, but he knows a thing or two about scissoring because he's the Sultan of Scissors. Scissoring is a handshake. It's a sign of friendship. It's the sign of a true team. People want to be represented by a real team, not two dudes thrown together like Sneaky Swerve and Keith Lee. Swerve wants you to believe they should be tag champs, but everyone loves the Acclaimed. We're more popular than Swerve. This isn't Swerve's house. So then, of course, Daddy Ass takes the mic, Billy Gunn, and he says, "This is Daddy Ass's house." Uh-huh. For everyone in the building and the millions and millions of people at home, what the? Anyway, it's National Scissoring Day. He went to City Hall, so then he presents the Acclaimed with a pair of giant gold scissors that are used to cut the ribbons by, city officials. Bowens then runs with the scissors. Castor then gets at the podium and he goes, "At this point in the service, we want you to turn to your right and left and offer peace to your neighbor by scissor." Okay, that was
That was
actually kind
funny.
of funny.
That was actually funny.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
"Peace be with you, Anthony." He goes, see, that was funny. As National Scissoring Day comes to a close, I want to talk about greatness. About 40 years ago in DC, greatness was achieved. So he talks about his dad who won the Super Bowl and he
Yeah.
achieved greatness. So, Max has now achieved greatness by winning the title. And he says this city also represents all the ugly division in the country, but we all agree everyone loves the Acclaim. So basically, they wear pink, not blue or red, and they're going to bring the whole country together by scissoring, the first bipartisan scissor to unite the country. But before they can unite the country, they are interrupted by Swerve. "Thank you, Swerve." Swerve says, "Exactly what I was thinking. This is the most idiotic thing I've ever seen. Congrats on your #1 shirt. Congrats, Billy. Now some more kids can go to school and get suspended." "These are your role models for your children. These guys. Those belts should be on Billy's shoulders because if it wasn't for him, you wouldn't be champs. We got some business. And next week in Toronto, it'll be Billy Gunn versus Swerve 1-on-1. And we all know rock beats scissors every day." And then Mark Sterling comes charging out next to him and goes, "But paper beats rock." And he runs into the ring in his pink suit. And he says, "I've been saying Swerve needs to go for ages. The Acclaimed, you need me. You can't beat Swerve by himself. We all saw it." He's not wrong. "So let's join together. Let me represent you in your fight against Swerve. Give these people what they want. You three scissoring me." They kill him.
Yeah.
And then Billy says, "I accept, Swerve. You can leave now because we have one more thing to do." So they scissor and the crowd goes bananas.
Yeah. This segment dragged on. I was like, what the heck? Like for a celebration, it actually really did drag on a lot. Shout outs to Anthony Bowen, who's great on the mic. Holy cow. When he was giving his little speech there, I was like, dude, the sound, he knows how to project his voice. I should have known that since he always says, he announces the city and then the Acclaimed have arrived. But good job on the mic. I was like actually very impressed with him on the mic. We talked about this earlier. Like maybe AEW was going to give the Acclaim their time to celebrate. They did. They gave them time to celebrate. But hey, everyone loves the Acclaim. And what they were saying was actually pretty nice. Like they were doing the full-on face thing. They were just there for everybody. There was no division. Like just Billy Gunn just showing his age as usual, was adding stuff that doesn't make any sense. And anyways, I love this. I love the Swerve. The Swerve came out. We knew he was going to come out. Just stating facts. I love he's carrying a rock beats scissors. And then of course, I like, even though it dragged on, Mark Sterling running out and says, "But paper beats a rock." I'm like, what the hell is happening right now?
Nope.
So yeah, it was funny. It dragged on a bit. Billy Gunn versus Swerve next week. Interesting match there, right? So I'm curious. I'm interested because hey, we get to see Swerve wrestle. I'm in.
Wouldn't it have been great to have seen that live?
It was, so before we continue, guys, as everyone knows, we didn't get tickets obviously because they were sold out. Blah 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 blah. You're right. It would have been great to see it live, but you know what's kind of helping me get by it a little bit is that I know the Elite are not going to be there. So
Yeah.
the next time they come, Bill, we will get tickets, and hopefully, we can see the Elite in person.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, it would have been nice to have gone, but still, if the Elite aren't going to be there, that's fine. This segment, yeah, it was exactly what I thought it was going to be. So I'm not gonna. I know a lot of people love the Acclaimed. A lot of people love this stuff. You guys all know by now I'm not one of them, so I'm not gonna crap on it any more than I already did during my recap. Other than, why did Billy Gunn need to quote The Rock?
I don't
Why?
know. I
Why?
don't. I
What
don't
the
know.
heck was the point of that? Like, ooh, I'm gonna be super charismatic by quoting The Rock of all people.
Who
Just,
knows?
can we now finally kill the Attitude Era? Just, can we end it? End it. Okay. It was garbage. The wrestling was crap. I'm done with the Era. Can we please move on? So, okay, not all the wrestling was crap, but the actual attitude around the
Yeah,
Attitude
it
Era
was.
was
That was
crap.
garbage. Yeah.
Crap. Garbage. Anyway, okay, Billy Gunn, stop. Swerve, you rock. And I mean that. Not only did you have a rock, you rock.
You rock.
We then go to the back for a Dark Order promo. And they say, this Friday night is bittersweet. It's the second anniversary of Brody Lee's last match. And it will also be the night we beat Death Triangle and become Trios champs. What better way to win than on the anniversary of Brody Lee's last match? And then John Silver puts on Pac's accent and he says, this Friday, I'm not even going to try to do it. This Friday, we're coming for the Trios championships. And then he turns to 10 and he goes, was that good? And he goes, pretty good.
Yeah, they're funny. They're hilarious. And I'm curious now, is Death Triangle going to lose on Friday against the Dark Order? Because the one thing AEW they do well is they honor people.
Mm-hmm.
I I don't see the Dark Order losing on the anniversary of Brody Lee's last match. I don't see
Yeah.
that happening.
Yeah,
So,
that's rough, right?
right?
Yeah.
So I kind of feel like the Dark Order is gonna win. Like, and
Yeah.
if you think about it, the Dark Order, they were injured. That's why they couldn't compete after the belt was stripped from the Elite.
Yep.
Why not keep it till this anniversary? That's such an I didn't even think about it, and now I'm like, yeah, I guess this makes more sense of them winning here, right?
Exactly.
So yeah, you know what? I'm interested. I'll be watching that match, and yeah, I'm very curious about what's
Yep.
gonna happen now.
Oh yeah. No, me too. I mean, I do think the Dark Order is going to win.
Yeah, they have to. There's
Yep.
no way they're gonna lose.
But we also know it's going to be a good match. You've got 6 really good wrestlers in that ring.
Yeah,
So, well, 5.5. 10's good. I wouldn't say really good,
Ten's
but he's
okay.
good.
He's
Yeah.
no Brian Cage or Wardlow in the previous match.
That's true. That's very true. And I never thought that. 10, you're no Wardlow. What? What'd you do with Bill? Where did you put him? Anyway. Then we go in another promo. We have Madison Rain with Sky Blue, and Madison Rain's introduced as the coach of the women's division. And she says, I've seen endless potential in this division since I got here, especially this woman. Right. And then Anna JAS and Ty Mello immediately interrupt them and they say, you need a real sports entertainment coach to give you some personality and flair. And Sky says, you're right. I could work on my charisma and you could work on your wrestling. And
Ooh,
Anna says, fine, because sports entertainers, like Jericho always says, beat pro wrestlers.
yeah. So they're obviously gonna, fight.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, that was actually a good comeback. But again, this just plays up the whole sports entertainer thing versus wrestler
Mhm.
thing. So I'm glad. Why not have Anna JAS versus Sky Blue? Like get them some time on TV to
Mhm.
fight it out. Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with this. You're
No, and
promoting
I mean,
your
Sky's
your
been
talent.
winning lots of matches
Yeah.
in dark and dark elevation, so it'd be nice to actually get her on the, main card. I mean, there's lots of people who've been winning lots of matches, or at least showing up constantly in
Mm-hmm.
dark and dark. Like Fuego Del Sol has been having some really great
Yep.
matches on dark and dark elevation.
Yeah.
And then he shows up later tonight, but we'll get to that. But first, we have Roosh taking on Hangman Adam Page. And when Hangman gets in the ring, he offers to scissor Roosh.
I love Hangman. He's so stupid. I love him.
Oh, Hangman, why? Just stop. Can you all stop? Can we go back to the too sweet? Please.
No way, it's gone. The Too
No.
Sweet has died.
No, it
Everyone,
hasn't.
this
Have
is
you
right
watched any
now.
New Japan recently? The Too Sweet
No,
is far from dead. You know who Too Sweet's? El Phantasmo. Okay.
for
Okay.
now. For now.
No, not for now, forever. Anyway, there's a big forearm exchange to open this match up, and they just go at each other, slaps, chops, and then we finally get to Hangman gets thrown out to the apron, but that puts him in position for the buckshot. So Roosh goes jumping back, lands on his side, and poses, staring at Hangman on the apron. But then Jose holds Hangman's leg. Roosh hits him to the floor, tosses Hangman into the rail, and then into a chair. And then Jose distracts the ref some more while Roosh whips him with a cable, then chokes him with the cable. Finally gets him back in the ring and beats him down, including a wicked seated drop kick to his back, followed by another pose. He does a lot of posing
Hmm.
and attitude in this match. It was pretty cool. Hangman finally comes back with an apron springboard kick and then a dive outside. But back in the ring, he catches Roosh in midair to put him into a Death Valley driver for two. Roosh absorbs a bunch of forearms from Page and then decks him, stomps in the corner. But Hangman powers up. Like he actually
He
picks
catches
Roosh
him.
up
Yeah.
on his
Yeah.
shoulders from a like seated on the ground position
Yep.
and flips him into a jackknife cover for two. He sets up for the buckshot, but Jose grabs his leg again. And then that leads to a straight jacket pile driver by Roosh for a near fall. Roosh at this point, his nose is busted open, so of course he wipes the blood off his face and licks his hand. He then sets Page up for the bull's horns, but Hangman gets back up and hits him with a lariat that sets him up nicely for the buckshot lariat, and that's the three.
Yeah, this match was awesome. Again, this is my 1B match of the night because it was so
Ooh.
much fun. Roosh playing the perfect heel. Like, part of me kind of wanted a clean match, but that's just not who Roosh is. So I accepted it. Hangman's always awesome. Is always awesome. Like, this guy hits hard, and you're right. Some of these spots, like, holy crap, showing his strength. My goodness. And Roosh, no slouch whatsoever here either.
Mhm.
Fast paced, hard hitting, exactly what we had said it was going to be, and fun to watch. Just a fun match. I love this match. I just absolutely love this match. But again, was not my match of the night.
Right. I mean, we both said it was going to be, and neither one of
Yep.
us chose it, which just goes to show you the quality of this Dynamite, because
Hmm.
this was a great match and could have been match of the night on other shows.
On other shows, easily,
Yeah. I mean,
easily.
great match. Hard hitting. These guys went at it. Well told. Hangman just constantly fighting from underneath. Roosh getting the advantage over and over again. Just so tough in the ring, right? It was really well fought, and good ending. Hangman does the really good kind of come out of nowhere explosive moves that are cool. So yeah, no, great match. Enjoyed it a lot. And at the end, Private Party comes out like they were instructed to, but they only get to the ring because then we see Mox coming out through the crowd and he just shakes his head at Private Party and they leave.
They leave.
So he grabs a mic and he stares eye to eye with Hangman and he says, I've been waiting for this for 3 years. 3 years of Dynamite, 3 years of watching you, 3 years of studying you because I knew it was coming. 3 years of us circling each other. Between us, we've beaten everyone there is to beat in AEW except each other. So on October 18th in my home arena, there will be one last man standing here. 13 days, cowboy. I'm going to leave my house, walk down Vine Street, show up at Heritage Center. I'm going to break your face and choke you until you turn blue because you're in the way of me being the one true top guy in AEW, the one true champion, and the best in the world. I have all the respect in the world for your abilities and talents. I have all the respect for you, but when the bell rings, I have no respect for anything. Hangman comes back with, if you've been waiting so long, where are you going right now? So Mox comes back and says, you're a sweet kid. And like a lot of kids around here, your mouth gets you in trouble. I'll let you off once. This is your final warning. You have 13 days. Watch your damn mouth.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Just awesome. Like, I mean, I get, as I said, Hangman's like the one of those most likable characters. He plays the face so well. Like, hey, if you want to fight, where are you going? Right? It's like, I'm right here, right now. And I love Moxie just calling him out and saying, yeah, you're right. He's like, you're a sweet kid,
Yeah.
and like a lot of kids around here, they say a lot of S, like, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, right. And it gets him into a lot of trouble. And I was like, yep, Yep. And 13 days, I'm gonna break your face. And I was like, this is gonna be awesome. This is
Yep.
going to, and they're doing what they need to do because from what I'm been hearing, they're having a little bit of trouble selling out the show.
Hmm.
So if they needed to be hyped up more, perfect,
Yeah, no
perfect.
kidding. I mean, well, Moxley is just like, he's just so good. The guy, the fact that he just comes out and shakes his head a little bit at Private
Mhm.
Party and they leave. I mean, but seriously, that's the champ,
Yep.
right? Like, you don't mess
Respect
with
the
this
champ.
guy,
Yeah.
right? Respect him. So all he had to do is give them a little head shake. That was so perfect, right? No, you guys don't want to do this, right? Gets in the ring, goes eye to eye with Hangman, and then gives another impassioned speech about like, and really sells the whole program.
Yeah. That's it.
This is 3 years in the making. You don't want to miss this one, guys. 3 years in the making, right? Like,
We've beaten everybody
mhm.
except each other. And I was like,
Yeah,
oh crap. All right. Okay.
yeah, yep. So yeah, good one, right? Good one.
Mhm.
So Mox being Mox, and I was wondering where he was going to be tonight, and well,
Mhm.
here he is because you need the voice of the heart of the company sometimes.
Agreed.
And was there a little subtle message in that too?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just a
Mm-hmm.
little.
Oh yeah. Oh
Maybe
yeah.
cautioning all the kids in
Every
AEW to.
everyone who's been running their mouth recently.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Final warning. Watch
Mm-hmm.
your damn mouth.
Watch your damn mouth. Yeah.
Yep. So in the back, we have a very happy Willow Nightingale. Thanks, Tony, because he congratulates her for her win. I'm stoked. I'm on a roll. At Battle of the Belts, I want a challenge for the TBS Championship. So Jade Cargill and her baddies walk up, and she mentions, quite frankly, I've already beaten you twice. Like, you want to be number 39 now? And I'm thinking to myself, you're not wrong, Jade. What
She's not
happened to
wrong.
the rankings?
Yeah.
How does she get it from winning one three-way match out there, like one
Exactly.
trio
Why is
smash? Like,
she the
now
number one contender?
she's beat you. You've beaten her twice. How many times do you have to beat this woman? Anyway, she says, you may have beaten me twice, but can you beat me a third time? What if you're 38-1 and I'm the one? We're both just
No.
staring at.
No. The
I
answer
know.
is no.
Oh my God. This seriously, this goes down as one of the worst promos I've heard in a very long time, because it's like,
It was
yeah,
so
I've
scripted. Yeah.
you've already beaten me twice, but I'm gonna try again. Oh,
Yeah, it's one
why?
of those things that when it's written, no one really thinks about how it's coming off, and maybe it's
Hmm.
also the delivery as well. But everything Jade said was right. I beat you twice. Why do I have to fight you again?
Yeah,
Basically, right?
exactly.
So yeah, agreed. Jade, you literally said exactly what everyone else was thinking, right?
Yes. Yeah. It's like, why is, like, say, Jamie Hayter not fighting?
Exactly,
Or
exactly.
Serena Deeb, or someone who's just gonna remove that belt from around your snotty waist. Because, man, I would love to see you drop that title, but it's not going to be to Will and Nightingale's third attempt at it. So
Yeah.
anyway, okay, and now we go to Luchasaurus taking on poor Fuego del Sol, the man who gets rewarded for some solid matches on Dark and Dark Elevation by getting crushed in under a minute by Luchasaurus.
Yeah, we knew this was gonna happen. Like we knew that it was gonna be
Yeah.
a quick squash match. I didn't remember I said, well, who's the jobber who's gonna
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna be the one that well, Fuego, I guess that's okay, you know.
Yeah, he only shows up on Dynamite to get crushed by whoever the flavor of the week is. So
Yep.
anyway, poor Fuego. You're so good, Fuego. We love you. We hope one day you get a real shot. At least I do. Anyway, Jungle Boy then attacks Luchasaurus with a chair and grabs the mic, and he says, "Look at me. You were my best friend in the entire world, and after everything we've been through, you chose him, and you broke my heart." And the audience goes,
Oh
"Oh."
yeah, I heard the audience say that.
But now I'm going to break your fingers. I'm going to break your nose. I'm going to break your arm. I'm going to break piece by miserable piece until I break you. You pick the time. You pick the place. I'll be ready. So Christian gets the mic and he goes, "Hey, I told you not to come back. We could drop you. But you said we could pick the time and place. And we're in DC. And this match will not be happening here in front of these losers." The time is next week in my hometown, Toronto, Ontario, Canada.
Yeah. And these are some of the things I kind of wish we were there next week because, just seeing this. Props to Jungle Boy on a better promo, way better promo, showing some passion, showing some like heart in here. I'm glad. And notice how you're right. They're calling him Jack Perry a lot more than Jungle Boy, right? Which is cool. I'm cool with that. And just the passion. Yeah, I really want to see what's gonna happen next week. I really do hope Jungle Boy gets some revenge, but I kind of feel to carry this further, he's gonna probably lose. But no, I thought this did exactly what we thought it was gonna do. Put the source over, and then bring Jungle Boy out. So yeah, this did what it had to do.
I think ultimately this feud is going to end because I think next week Christian's going to interfere, of course, and it's going to cost Jungle Boy the win. This feud with Luchasaurus, I think, is going to end with Luchasaurus versus Jungle Boy in a cage, and it's going to be one of those matches where Jungle Boy absolutely has to overcome everything to beat him, but it's going to make him.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that to me, that would be the ultimate finish to this feud, would be the cage match between Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy. No possibility of other people interfering, right?
Yeah,
it would be awesome. And none of this climb out of the cage crap. That's what I like about AEW cage matches. They're cage matches. So then we get in the back, we see Pac and Trent. They're giving their promos back and forth for their match this coming Friday for the All Atlantic Championship.
Yeah. Good luck, Trent. Pac is going to destroy you.
Yes.
But yeah, no, like Trent's a good wrestler, so I'm happy to see him get some time to wrestle. And Pac, well, we know all about Pac. So yeah, okay build up. I love just him and Chuck are just sitting on stairs, just there.
Exactly. But that was pretty. But sadly, no Orange Cassidy. But do you know who tweeted tonight in AEW on the roster? Who said, "I think it's time for me to go for a championship."
Orange Cassidy?
No.
Who?
Sean Spears. I love the look. If you guys could see the look on Krishna's face right now.
Interesting, because he tweeted goodbye like a couple days back, which everyone was like, "Oh my God, Sean Spears leaving?" And interesting.
And then he tweeted, "Yeah, I think it's time for me to go for a championship." Clearly, he's just messing with people, I guess, now for whatever reason. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe he means some other championship somewhere else.
Maybe. I don't know.
Who knows? It's Sean Spears, so do we really care?
Figure out yourself, Sean Spears. Just figure yourself out.
Yes.
Good luck.
Sadly, we just gave more time to Sean Spears.
I know.
But then we have, by process of elimination now, this comes down to the last match, and it's got to be your match of the night. So anyway,
we're talking about maybe I don't have a match of the night, Bill.
Oh, that's quite possible. I did do that once. So we have Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara taking on Bryan Danielson and Wheeler Yuta. And it starts off with
not Wheeler Yuta. You mean Daniel Garcia?
Did I say Wheeler Yuta?
Yes.
Oh my God, Daniel Garcia.
I was like, man. Wheeler Yuta.
Wow, he's doing double duty. Hey, Pac's doing double duty. Rampage and what do you call it? Battle of the Belts, right?
Yep.
Anyway, so Jericho and Garcia start off with a code of honor. Garcia mat wrestles Jericho. Just like rolls him around, rolls on top of him, kind of gives him this little humiliating slap. But then there's a chop exchange. Some solid wrestling started off. Danielson then catches Sammy coming off the top into a German suplex, but Sammy catches him on the top with a Kamigiri and a Spanish fly for 2. Sammy and Jericho pose while Danielson's down. It was a pretty hilarious pose. The crowd chants F off Sammy an awful lot, or you still suck, no matter what Sammy did with his moves tonight. The crowd just kept chanting, "You still suck." Tags to Garcia and Jericho. So Garcia is chopping Jericho, back suplex for 2, a running PK, but Jericho catches a second attempt at a PK, though Garcia then reverses that into a Dragon Tamer. Sammy super kicks him out of it and then takes out Danielson with a dive. I mean, there was a lot of sort of back and forth, like just people everywhere in this match. Jericho chops Garcia, but Garcia starts no-selling him, but Jericho finally gets him down. Lion salt, but he eats knees. Tag to Guevara, who went to a cutter, but Garcia caught him into a submission. And his arm submissions mirrored by Danielson on the other side, who does it to Jericho. Then there's mirrored hammer and anvil elbows. They set Sammy up on the turnbuckle, but Guevara lands on his feet after they throw him off. corkscrew to Garcia, standing Spanish fly to Danielson, kick to the spine on Garcia for 2. So he's just taking them both out. But apparently, according to the crowd, he still sucks.
He still sucks, yeah.
GTH is blocked by Garcia into a pile driver, but Jericho drags Garcia out during the pin. Danielson drops Jericho with a knee. Sammy does a thrust kick, but Garcia gives him a lariat. Both guys are down. Jericho suplexes Danielson onto, first of all, it's like a slam onto the table. He hits the belt, but the table doesn't break. And then Jericho suplexes Danielson through the table. It looked kind of painful. Sammy then gives a knee shot to Garcia. The GTH, he goes to the top, but his shooting star press eats knees. A lot of knees eaten in this match. Dragon Tamer gets locked in, but then Jericho, while Aubrey is like staring the wrong way, clocks Garcia with the belt. Sammy covers him. 3 count. Match over.
Yeah, this was my match of the night. I love this match. It was so much fun. You're right. It started off with the mat wrestling, kind of showing off the 2 Ring of Honor guys, like obviously Garcia and Danielson. And then it turns. And yeah, the crowd. Okay, here's my problem. I kind of feel like Sammy. Well, not kind of feel. Sammy was getting attacked a lot here. Obviously, for if anyone's not was listening to the beginning of our show, we talked about the little feud him and Andrade have been having like online. But guess what? Hey, crowd, quick question for you. What happens if you find out that it's true and Andrade wanted to leave and you're a big AEW fan? Who comes out on top here? Guess what? Sammy Guevara has been a AEW guy from the beginning. And you know what? Maybe Bill's because we saw him live. Maybe I have a little soft spot for Sammy. But what I saw tonight, Sammy Guevara is so friggin' awesome. Oh my God, he's so good. He wrestles the wrestling I like, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Flying all over the place. Does that those Spanish flies. Like when they tried to flip him off the top rope and he landed on his feet. I knew that was gonna happen. I was like, yeah, it's Sammy. But he does it with such ease. Such ease, right? And I was kind of like Garcia, like just putting on a clinic tonight. I was like, holy crap, this guy is like it's almost like he channeled his inner Danielson, and like they're both just like almost mirror images of each other, right? And then watches, so obviously having the JS having to cheat to win, which is obviously things JS would do. It just made sense. Garcia didn't look weak. He didn't look like he couldn't wrestle. Like they had to go that extra step just to beat them, right? And because it shows how good Danielson and Garcia are as a tag team, right?
Yep.
And so I loved this match. I really did. Like I thought I had so much fun when Sammy was going nuts in the ring. I was like, holy crap, this guy is so good, right? And that's like I was like, you know, is it this match? Is it the Roosh match? Because I had so much fun with both. But I for some reason I just really like this last match even more. It looks a little bit more. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just give it this my match of the night. Just close it off. Perfect end to such a perfect show. So I was like, you're gonna get my match of the night.
Yep. Yeah. No. And I can see that. You know, it is 100% a great candidate for a match of the night, right? So anyone who picks this as the match of the night, I get it, 100%. For me, yeah. I mean, oh my God, Sammy's amazing. Look, you got a hockey team. You got a guy that can score 80 goals a season.
Yep.
But he doesn't want to play for your team. Or let's say you have a basketball team and you have a guy that can win you championships. But that guy doesn't really want to play in Toronto. He would rather play in LA or he'd rather play anywhere else, wherever
familiar.
Wherever he ended up. And he, you know, the fans are like, oh no, he's going to sign with us. Oh no, because he loves us. No, he doesn't love you. He loved the money. He loved the championship. He left. Get the hell over it. That's Andrade.
Yeah.
Okay. If he doesn't want to be here and he wants to go play somewhere else, who cares?
Fine. Yeah, that's fine.
Give me the guy who gets like 30 goals and awesome and stuff and can entertain the hell out of me on the ice. Of course, now I'm mixing hockey and basketball. Whatever. You know what I'm trying to say. I would rather have the guy who wants to play for my team and can and is a good performer. I don't just want the guy who wants to play for my team and then totally sucks in the ring. Right. But Sammy Guevara does not suck. I don't care what you were saying. I get why you were chanting that tonight, Washington, but you're way off.
Yeah.
Sammy Guevara is phenomenal in the ring. Do you know what Sammy needs help with? Getting over his little immature spats that he has with people.
And guys, he's 20 something. Yeah. Like, let's remember what we were doing when we were 20 something as well.
He's a kid with a loud mouth who grew up in the internet era. Okay.
Exactly.
But to get back to the actual match, because we should be just enjoying the wrestling, phenomenal match. I loved it. What more can I say about it? I mean, we had 4 of the best wrestlers in the world in the ring tonight. And then we look at this Dynamite. Look at this Dynamite. Was there a bad match on the card? I mean, I'm
No,
not going to
there was
count the Luchasaurus match because that wasn't
no,
really a match.
it
It was
wasn't
a
really a
2-second
match.
squash. But
Yeah,
every match on this card,
it was great. It
phenomenal.
was great.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that I'm going to overstate saying this was an Omega level.
Oh hell yeah! This episode of Dynamite easily Omega level, just
Mhm.
based on the quality we got tonight. Right? Not one match was like, oh my god, I can't believe they did this. They botched. No, everything was fantastic tonight.
Yep.
The women's match, like every single match, I thoroughly enjoyed. This is how you celebrate your third year. You put on a
100%.
show, and again, we say the elite weren't even there.
I know. Like, that's the crazy part, right? Like, this is AEW, though, right? I mean,
Mhm.
look, this is AEW. You gave me a bunch of wrestling matches that I absolutely loved watching, period. You gave me 2 hours and 15 minutes of phenomenal wrestling. And if you'd cut out the National Scissoring Day, you would have been under the 2 hour
Under
spot.
2 hours. Yep.
So that would have been amazing if you just cut that out and not worry. But I get it. The crowd needs their scissors.
Yeah.
But other than that, what an amazing
What a
Dynamite.
fantastic show.
Yeah. So I think we've probably gone on about this show long enough this evening. But as always, it is time for our one phrase to summarize the evening. Krishna's now laughing, so I think he's got a good one.
I don't have a good one. I'm laughing at things that happened tonight, and yeah, here my thought of the night is Rock beats scissors every time, but paper beats Rock.
I totally hate you right now because that was my
Oh no!
phrase. So
Oh,
now I have to
no.
get a completely different phrase to summarize the night. Thanks. So I'm just gonna go with my phrase to summarize the evening is, if you want to know where great wrestling still lives, all you need to do is watch tonight's Dynamite.
Agreed. 100% agreed.
But now that we've also gone over, just like Dynamite tonight, as the great one always says, goodbye, everybody, and good night. Bang.
Good night, everyone.